for the 2 sessions where unfortunately we couldn't get presenters around, so it's good to prove that the system still works. Adam,
it does work.
It's all yours, my friend.
Excellent. Let's do it. Okay. I think I'm requesting control to share. Allow. Excellent. Thank you, Liam.
It's all yours.
Okay. Now, do bear with me. This is my first time presenting from a Teams broadcast. So, actually, I think I've taken control of your screen, and I want to share mine. Let me see real quick. Here we go.
Don't worry, everybody. The live event will continue. It's okay. We're just having a little. Adam is still here. We are here. Do not hang up. Adam has put his desktop up.
Am I here? Can we see?
I can see you fine.
Awesome. Let's do it. All right. Of course, that is going to block. Sweet. Okay. Well, I am very excited to be here. This is that nervous excited. So for me, it's a great opportunity to get to share a little bit of what we work on. So as way of introduction, my name is Adam Callens. I am a PM on the Excel team working on collaboration. A little bit of history on me. This is actually my second time working in Office. Years ago, I worked on the Office graphics team, worked a lot with PowerPoint, did a bit of work with Excel as well. And I went and worked in Xbox for several years on interactive video, did several years working on the Halo team, and now I am back in Office getting to work on Excel. So for me, a very exciting opportunity and a fantastic team. I will tell you, I was a bit nervous as I was preparing the content. I kind of had this panic attack a week or two ago where I was like, what am I going to say to this group? Because we have MVPs, we have people who are passionate about this product, they've been using it a long time. And I was really worried that I would be the dumbest person in the room. So a colleague of mine who was helping coordinated this reminded me that we're all experts in different areas and that Excel is a broad product. And so he said, look, just act like no one has ever seen collaboration before. This is their first time and go from there. So I said, great, we'll go with that mentality. My objective today is to empower you to be a better collaborator. And we're gonna walk through the what, so how do me and my team think about collaboration? What is that from our perspective? I'm gonna spend the bulk of my time talking about the how, so the tools that we have built and how we think we can empower you to be a better collaborator. And then I'm gonna finish with the why, and this is where I would love to hear from you. So why do you collaborate? What are the scenarios that are important to you? And why do you not collaborate? What are the challenges that you face or the scenarios where you're like, you know what, this just isn't valuable to me? And I would love to hear from you and be able to answer your questions. So that's a little bit of our process for today. So the what? I actually spend a lot of my time focusing on co-authoring. So when we talk about co-authoring, we mean 2 or more people who are working on a document together. That can be simultaneously, or that can be sequentially, right? So you're there for a while, then you know, maybe and you leave, and then I hop in. I actually spend a lot of my time looking at the error cases there. So just how do we make this as seamless a process as possible? So co-authoring, very important to us in an important aspect to it. The second piece, big pillar for us, is communication. So how do people communicate around this document that they're working? So we have email. We'll show a little bit of how we incorporate email into collaboration in Excel. Obviously, we have Teams integration, and that's something where the team will continue to invest, looking to make that better, especially given, and please excuse the phrase, right, our new normal. But it's not an area that I'm going to dive deep today, the Teams integration. And then, of course, we have things like comments and areas where we've looked to make we have made a lot of improvements over the past few years. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then the last one that I like to call independently together. So what does it mean for us to be in a document together and not trample on each other, not disrupt each other, and for others to not disrupt you? And so we've built a feature called Sheet View that we are very excited about, we're passionate about, that we'll talk a little bit about today. Okay, so when where this really collaboration begins is the sharing of the document. So getting the document out to others and getting them access to it. And so I love to use the share button in the upper right corner. It's also accessible from File, Share in the backstage. And in this particular scenario, I've started a document brand new, right? So I started a brand new spreadsheet. I've just started typing and I'm going to share that out. We need that to be stored in a location first before we can give others access to that. So that's why you see here, we really encourage the cloud locations. Excuse me. And there's really a lot of power to the file being in the cloud. For me, one of the biggest ones is just the fact that you can open it from any endpoint. When I was first in office many years ago, I actually had a laptop and a desktop. And I found that I never used my desktop because all my documents were on excuse me, sorry, I have my lovely toddler who just joined me. But all my documents were on the network share, and if I left it open on my laptop and moved to my desktop, then I would lock myself out. But in the years since then, right, with cloud and with the way we handle that so much better, I can move between devices so much easier, and it makes my workflow as a PM in my day-to-day much easier. So I save this to my work OneDrive. I name it Happy Little Trees, and now I can actually share that with people. And so I can go in here, and there's a lot of different scenarios here. I won't walk you through all of them, but one that I do want to call attention to, right, is the send a copy. We've, over the years, really, right, tried to just encourage people to stop emailing these copies of documents around, get them in a single location, get the right people access, make sure everyone's on the same version, right, and because that's so much easier. There's absolutely scenarios still, though, right? I always think of like the job hunt, right, where you want to send a resume to a single employer. You don't want to give them access to your live document because you're going to customize it to each employer. You're going to always be tweaking it. So that's definitely a scenario we still value and appreciate. And then right here where I start to enter a name, in this case, I'm going to send this to my manager, Catherine Pigeon. And so we'll populate based on your organization, right, names there. Now I didn't get other people's permission, so you see my privacy shield. So then I can actually send her, I can add a note there and I can send the document to her. Now, for the sake of this presentation, I shared it with myself. And so this is the email that I get, and I'm able to click open right there and jump right into the document. Sweet. So one of my fellow PMs, Pallavi, jumped in with me and helped me get a few screenshots here and share a little bit of the experience. So I shared the document with her. And when she shows up, we now delve into this feature that we call presence. And you'll see here at the top, I get this notification that Pallavi is now here, and she's now going to be working in the document with me. Presence is really important to us. It's one of these core 5 pillars by which we judge success of a collaborative session in Excel. And the reason is, there's actually a couple reasons for that. One is we want people to know that they're working in the right document. Even with all of our cloud management and everything we do, I still have multiple versions of documents. I work on things in a silo and then I may share them out to other people. And so just the fact you see your coworkers there, right, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be working. The other aspect, which I'll show here in a second, is we show your selection as well. And so we want people to know to not trample on each other, not try to work in the same cells or the same space, but then also and just improve that communication of knowing where people are working. So you see here, right, Pallavi's selection is on cell D3. I get her initials there. It's a different color than my selection, which doesn't have initials, which is green over here. And if I hover over her initials in the upper right corner, I actually get her name and I get where she is editing, and I can jump to that location. Of course, this is a very, very simple made up data set that I have, that as you're all aware, you can have very complex workbooks. And so it's really convenient to know, okay, where is someone working? What are they doing? And can I jump to that location and see it? So communication. We had the old school comments, which I believe are now called notes. I loved and used these a lot in the past, so I absolutely had to include a screenshot of them. But this has been replaced with a cohesive comments experience across all of Office, which is now our comments pane. So again, you can see here, right, I've opened up a new comment. I've used the @ symbol, so I can mention someone in here. And the reason this is important and significant to us is what I'll show you in a moment, is that when you @ mention someone in a comment and then you commit that comment, so you have to actually like hit submit, that person will receive an email notification about it. We actually wait, so there's a slight delay in there. So if you're sending multiple things to someone, we will group those into a mail. But we send that mail to them so they get this notification and say, okay, Adam's referencing you and asking for your input here. And I think, okay, here we go. So here I've sent it to myself. I can see the comment here. I can see the cell that it references as well. So again, this is to provide context because it's all about trying to reduce the burden, right? Make it as cognitively simple as possible for you to get in, understand what's being asked of you, and get that reply or get the work done. And sorry, I use a lot of hand motions, but I just realized I didn't turn my camera on, so you're missing out on all of them. So I'm describing all this in the air as well. Now, another feature that I love here that we call reply @ mention, RAM for short, is within the body of the email, I can actually type in here and give a response that will get posted back to the document. So again, right, we've sent you the comment, we've sent you the cell the value from the cell that the comment was applied to. You're able to make that here, and then when I go back over, I see, oh, look, there it is, right? It's already posted in the document just a few moments later. So again, this is all about ease of communication within the document itself. Sweet, okay, so now we're to Sheet View. This is a feature that we rolled out with—
Sorry, Adam,
yeah.
Can I just come in just for a second? I'm getting a couple of comments here. Just would you just mind slowing down a little? That is what.
Absolutely.
Just, apologies, I'll give them feedback.
No.
What I'm thinking we might do, just to let people know who are asking questions, I might actually leave them because I do agree. Adam's going quite quickly. We might take the questions at the end. I think it's maybe better if that's so. Still put them up here, and I'll go through them at the end if that's all right. Sorry, Adam. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're totally fine. And I apologize. So I am actually a very fast talker. So in my mind, I feel like I'm going painfully slow. So I super apologize for going too fast. I will definitely try to pace myself a bit more. And I'm happy to go back and review anything, and not jump so quickly through it. So absolutely my apologies. Great, so Sheet View. Sheet View is a feature that I love. I use it quite a bit, and it's a very powerful tool when you are working with other people, even if you're not there at the same time, but especially when you're there at the same time with other folks. So here again, I have my data set. I've invited other people to work on the document, right? We've had some commentary, some exchange. I need to do an analysis on this data set. So in this case, I'm going to filter. But I don't want to disrupt other people. So when I go to my filter on secondary data, I get Sheet View, and then I can actually choose to create what we call a sheet view. What this allows me to do is apply sorts and filters that only I can see. So an example I'll give you, we had a large data set internally, and managers at Microsoft, so the big, right, like lots of all managers at Microsoft were asked to input something there. And the result of that was that lots of folks went in and started filtering and sorting to like just their organization, and narrowing that down. The benefit of a feature like this is that I can look at a view that only I see. I can filter that data on my own, independent of everyone else, make my updates and changes, and then I can leave without being destructive or impactful to anything anyone else is doing. So let me see, I think I have a few more. Okay, yes. So here you actually see the column and row headers. We've changed the color so that that's a clue that, hey, you're in a unique view, right? You're in the separate view. Up here, you'll see it says temporary view because I haven't saved it, which is the keep. And then I have a simple exit. So I can operate in here. Anyone else who is applying filters, sorts to the data set won't impact me and I won't impact them, which is what's so powerful about this. Now there's a second thing that I really love, which is this keep. And we actually had a scenario, just recently, where it was a large planning document across a large, it was a large planning document across many different groups in Office. And we needed to, those of us working on Collab, not just for Excel, but across lots of different groups, wanted to look at investments that were being made in some of the plans and different things that were lined up. So one person went in, right? They built out a sheet view. They called it, right, the collaboration, Office collaboration sheet view. And then they saved it there. And so they applied a specific filter. And then I can go in there and just click on that and all my data will sort the way that person had applied it, if that makes sense. So you can save views and anyone who comes into the document can also see it. And so it made it really quick and easy for me to come back in, jump in, look at it, make my changes, update my areas that I needed to, see the updates that other PMs and the engineers had done, and then exit again without disrupting other people who are working there. Okay. So I was getting to questions to the audience, but I would love to hear from you. If we had questions, Liam, I think this was a great time to break, go back and address any of those. I'm happy to hear the commentary.
I think the one of them was about the pace, but the main one that's come out, and I put something up in the chat, and hopefully I'm right, was for co-authoring and collaboration, which versions of Excel does it apply to?
Yeah, great question. So if you're in the web, it absolutely will always apply, right? So the web is always up to date. If you have bought the box product, so let's say you bought like Office 2016, our collaboration features are not supported there. So like co-authoring specifically won't be supported there. So if I'll give you a scenario, if one person is working from the web and another person is working from Excel 2016, that can get you in a scenario where you apply an exclusive lock on it. But anyone with like an Office 365 or a Microsoft 365 subscription, those versions all support the full collaboration suite. Does that answer the question?
I think that's pretty comprehensive and better than the one I gave. Absolutely. There's a couple of comments from Kevin, who's I haven't put these published, so apologies for someone here. Says he said that file share requires save to cloud. We cannot save anything to an undefined cloud. And also he's mentioned, and if you want to comment on this, the privacy notice at OneDrive is insufficient.
So the first one, we can't save it to an undefined cloud. I don't know if I understand the question there or the scenario.
I'm happy if Kevin wants to elaborate. I haven't got any more questions at the moment. I just read out completely what was there, and I'm sorry I can't embellish myself, Adam.
No, it's okay.
Just wait.
Absolutely.
At the moment, we have no more questions. Okay. You might want to continue. If we get more, I will ask them later. So please do feel free to fire your questions on in the meantime here. Thanks. I am looking.
Awesome. Thank you. And I apologize. I'm actually not at home. I'm at my sister's house. Normally, I'd have a multi-screen and I could have the questions up on the side, but I'm just working from my laptop today. So anyway, on the why. So something I would love to hear from any and all of you. And by the way, I intentionally left screenshots that had my email. You are more than welcome to email me with questions later. I'm happy to answer them and hear your experiences with collaboration as well. So feel free, if this isn't the form that works, shoot me an email later. I'm happy to respond. It's acal, A-C-A-L at Microsoft.com. But I would love to hear, what are the scenarios where you do collaborate with others? and what are the challenges that you encounter? I'm actually curious about storing files in the cloud as well. It sounded like Ken had some maybe commentary or questions there. I would love to know more about that, because I would love to learn, if there's anything that's impeding or blocking you from effectively using the cloud when you're working with others. That's an area that I'm working to improve and make better for everyone. So I would love to hear about that as well.
I've got some more questions for you if you want them now, and I think Kevin has
Please.
tried to explain. So I'll start with Kevin again. He said, just to explain, he said private information may not be shared unless there is a clear business agreement, is what he said.
Okay.
I've had a request. Can you please repeat how to activate the sheet view?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So I'll go to Kevin's first. I'm not sure if I understand it correctly, but what I will elaborate and say is, absolutely, one of the things that we partner with the OneDrive team on is clarity and making it really easy to understand for customers. When I share something, who has access, who doesn't, how long will they have access, all those pieces. I'll give you an example. When I was working in Xbox, I was actually helping with the Daily Show from E3, which is the big gaming conference every year. And we were pulling in trailers for lots of unannounced games, like about 40 trailers. And my job was to go get all these trailers and bring them all together for footage for the show. And I had this moment where I realized I'm going to share one OneDrive folder, and I want all these competitors to upload their videos of unannounced content, and many of which were exclusive coming on this Xbox show. And I kind of had this panic where I was like, I don't know if I give them access, will they be able to see each other's content? And I was actually really worried about that. And so I had to go through some hoops there to understand, okay, what was the best way to share that? So I absolutely hear you when you, I think, right, I'm understanding correctly, right? There's concerns when you're sharing with customers, especially if you have multiple customers who might even be competitors, keeping all that separate. So I hear the feedback. I don't necessarily have a great answer today, other than I've experienced, right, that feeling of, hey, I want to make sure I'm being true to my customers and not divulging something or sharing information that I shouldn't. And it's feedback that we give to the OneDrive team as well. I will say they are working on lots of features in this space, and they're always looking to improve it. And so I think over the next year or two, you'll continue to see growth in that space and improvement.
Thank you, Adam. Kevin just puts more. I'm not going to keep going. He wants to know about inviting people and the fact he does not recognise anyone in his organisation. But I'm thinking it might be something where, ooh, Kevin, if there's an issue, we might take that one offline, Kevin, and Adam will be delighted to hear from you. If you email him directly, I think he'll be able to help you out, as I'm conscious he's got more things to present. Do you want more questions now, or would you like me to save them to the end, Adam?
Let's answer the sheet view question. Because someone asked me, hey, can you just show me again how to jump into that? Oh, yes,
sorry, I forgot that one.
And then let's go back. Then let's absolutely get some more questions. So I will say it did occur to me once someone asked that question that I am on a very latest, in fact, a dog food version. So it may be that in all of your desktop versions, even if you're on Office 365, you may not see sheet view in the dropdown yet. So what I will say is, once that feature is completely rolled out in desktop, and I'm trying to remember exactly what builds that's in, I'll have to follow up with that. When I literally just click, I don't know if people can see my mouse, here in D1, I click the down arrow for the filter on secondary data in my workbook, and sheet view is just an option here. So now I can click new sheet view, and when I do that, I immediately get to this screen, where I now have the green bars. And by the way, I can actually flip over to Excel if we want to dive even deeper, and I can show you the feature in detail. And then I have, hey, I'm in a temporary view. I can save this drop down where it says temporary view. If I had saved different views in the past, I would see the list of them. If other people came and saved views, I would see their views as well, listed there, how they were named. And then there's some additional options with that. I believe also to make your saved views private, so you can also do that. Hopefully that answers it. I will say, if you go to the web version, it is, I'm going to step out on a limb here, 100% rolled out on web. So I believe in web, you will see it. In web, if you start to filter, I believe we prompt a dialog that says, do you want to just see this yourself, or do you want everyone to see what you're working on? So we have a slightly different approach there, and that's something the team is always refining, right? Like, what's the best way to introduce people to the new feature? But in WebView, it should be there. If it's not there, it's coming very, very soon, because we've been rolling it out to all customers.
Okay. Do you want me to give you another question, or are you happy
Yes.
to see? Okay, well,
yeah, no,
Christian's
let's
been waiting patiently. He's actually asked, co-authoring is as anonymous as Power Tools, especially Power Query, are in Excel. What will Microsoft do to make these two more visible?
So the question is, how will we make collaboration and co-authoring tools more visible?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, I love that you get to interpret the questions.
Yeah, Christian will shoot me afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally fine. That's an excellent question. Obviously, I work with the collaboration team, so we are all about how can we make this more obvious. And I would say, as developers of it, one of the problems, and I'll speak for myself here individually, one of the problems I run into is because I sit on dog food, right? I'm on the most latest version of Excel. I forget that other people aren't. And so to me, this becomes just natural. Like, oh yeah, of course Sheet View is there when you click the drop down. And then I'm like, oh wait, it may not be there for you yet. So I'd say one, it's just always a good reminder for me, like, hey, things that are obvious or the buttons that are there at the forefront may not be there for customers. Number two, I do think we have some improvement to do for our story of what impedes co-authoring and collaboration, right? So I believe it was one of the early questions here was, okay, can I do this from any version of Excel? And so that's something that we talk about as a team. We talk about it with the support teams because they get those questions. And so I think for us, there's communication outside, whether that's articles we publish, events like these, right, where we're just talking about the features and trying to raise awareness of them. But then also one of the things we've been working on is our long-term plan for how do we communicate better in app, because we do get questions like, hey, I was trying to work with Joe, and then suddenly, right, it was broken. I got this error message that says it couldn't merge my changes. By the way, selfishly, I did not go through the error cases here, even though I deal with them a lot. But it's real. And so one of the things we're also working on is just better communication in app to help customers understand, oh, this person's on a different version. That's what's causing the problem. Or, hey, here's a better way to do that. Or you've got to get it uploaded to the cloud first, and then all these features come unlocked. So I do think there's some improvements that we can make. It is something we're aware of, but I absolutely love the feedback.
Okay, still good for questions, or want to carry on?
Yes, no, let's go. More questions.
Okay, next one's a fellow presenter, Nabil Murad, is going to be on later, but he's asked in the meantime, isn't Sheet View close to custom views?
Yes, but I am not well versed at custom views, so I am not the best person to answer that question, unfortunately.
Let's take flying then. It's okay. There's plenty more questions here. So
please.
Next one, and I'm just going through some of them. I apologize if I can't get to them all here, but I will make sure they stay online so that Adam can perhaps answer them after his session. How does undo work with multiple users?
Undo with multiple users. I have to think about this one.
Oh, you stumped him.
You did stump me, because I thought I knew, and I was about to say it, and then I was like, wait, that may not be 100% right. I believe, okay, I'll come back with a definitive answer. But I am high confidence that your undo stack is still unique to your session. So if you do a series of things and I do a series of things and you hit undo, you will undo your actions. You will not undo my actions. So I believe they are still unique to each client. My hesitation is that we actually do keep a master revision list for so long. So we are aware of all the changes that the different authors have put into the document. But I'm highly confident it is per client. Great question. Yeah, that was a tough one.
We want another?
Please.
What is the future of shared workbooks in Excel? We use them a lot at my work, says Anonymous, but they also restrict lots of functionality.
I'd be curious what functionality is restricted with a shared workbook. Honestly, I just wanted to hear more about this scenario in general, first off. So whoever you were, please feel free to shoot me an email, and I would love to just learn more. But what I will say is one of the feature crews that I lead is addressing specifically features that are not well supported in collaboration today. So there are absolutely things that you can do that will break. And so you'll get an error dialog that says, hey, we can't merge your changes. I think that's what you're referring to. If so, I would say we're on it. We monitor this, we look at the telemetry. We are always trying to improve and make that better. It's a long grind at this point. We've addressed all the ones that are frequently hit, like speaking globally. But we are absolutely continuing to look at and monitor, okay, what's the next biggest problem that customers are hitting when collaborating? What's causing the most errors? And then trying to add, and we are adding support for those features.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Another?
Please, yes.
So I apologize if I'm pressing some of these. It's just I'm not sure I understand some of them myself, but I'll go to them. Can sharing work on a corporate server, or does it have to be MS?
Y'all have some deep questions. You would think it was simple. I believe if you well, no, it can work on your server if it's SharePoint. So if you have a SharePoint deployment, you have it sitting in SharePoint, even on-prem, I would say with 98% confidence, it should still work. But if it doesn't, shoot me an email, let's talk.
Okay. Another?
Please.
Right, I'm reading this as it goes. So if the person that you are trying to share with has not set up their OneDrive, will this prevent them from using the share feature when I share with them and I have OneDrive set up? And there's a bit more. It says, to be more specific, if needed, my organization has Microsoft 365, but not all users have their OneDrive feature set up, but I do. Would I still be able to share with these people that do not have their OneDrive set up?
I absolutely love this question. Yes, it should. There's always the should, right? And I wish I could write it in italics for you. It should still work because the document in this case is stored in your OneDrive. So when they access it, you're actually giving them permission to that document. So in terms of permissions, right? They're getting permission to that document in your OneDrive. They don't get permission to the rest of your OneDrive, depending on your organization settings, but the way it works here, at Microsoft, my OneDrive is still owned by me, my documents are there, I can store things there, other people can't necessarily see them unless I give them direct access. So even if their OneDrive isn't set up, you give them permissions, they can access that document, they should be able to edit on it, and things should be wonderful.
Okay. The next one here is old habits, and then in brackets, emailing files in Outlook is the major impediment I see to co-authoring in SharePoint OneDrive. There's no question, it's just a comment, but I thought if you want to say your view on that, Adam?
Absolutely. This is, I'll confess, right? Back when I was in Xbox, I was still emailing documents a lot. And for me, one of the biggest reasons why I still did it that way was the slice in time. So I had essentially a report, it was built in a spreadsheet, and I wanted to show that to management. I wanted to show that to a partner team that I was working with. But then I would continue iterating for next month's report. And I didn't necessarily, sometimes I would change formatting, and so you don't want people to see behind the curtain, so to speak. So I think there are times where we're still doing that. But I agree with the comment, right? We see that in telemetry as well. We're like, man, we want more, we really see benefit to more folks getting their documents into the cloud and sharing them from there. So I think there's still some uphill work for us on figuring out, is it just old habits, or do people not trust it? Is there more financial data in Excel, so people are more concerned about how they share them? I'm still looking for answers. I would love to hear any additional commentary from you. But I agree, we do still see those habits, absolutely.
I've had quite the grilling there, haven't you, Adam? I think I've
enjoy
dealt
it.
with the queries here for the time being. A couple of
Okay.
you have asked, why am I not actually publishing them? I'm thinking because I'm reading them out. I think, with the exception of those which have just been continuations of questions asked, I have actually asked them all at the moment. If anyone disagrees, feel free to put it in there. And Adam will be around later, and I think he's delighted to hear all your questions. But Adam, I'll let you just carry on for the time being, and I'll let you know if there's any more questions later.
Absolutely. So I actually am very, very close to being done. Again, I still would love to hear your collaboration scenarios. So feel free to post them in the chat, shoot me an email. But I would love to hear, sorry, I don't know if you can hear my toddler in the background, but I absolutely would love to hear your experiences and especially your challenges. So I spend a lot of my time looking at and thinking about, where do we see errors? Where do we see challenges that customers are hitting? And looking at the submissions by customers when they're hitting challenges, which leads me to my big final point. Please send feedback in app. So if you do get to, if you are collaborating with someone and you get an error message, if you get what we affectionately call the SAD dialog, SAD, that is the save as or discard. If you get the SAD dialog, if it tells you you can save your local copy or you can discard it, please, please, please go to the upper right corner, click on the smiley face, click on I don't like something, something's not right. That will take you to this page where you can then give us a brief description of what you were doing when this happened, if you know at all. If you include your email, we will look at this, we will send you an email. We do get lots of them, but we try to look at as many of them as we can. And it's very important to us, and it's really useful because we do get logs associated with that as well. So again, click on that smiley face, send us the feedback. We actually do look, humans do review it. And let us know what's happening, what are the challenges, and then we can try to dig into that and figure out what's going on. And then the last thing from my side, the Excel team is looking for research participants. Please, you're probably going to see this at the end of other Microsoft presenters as well, but absolutely, we'd love to have you participate in this. So feel free to jump in. We're always looking, especially for experts. People have a lot of deep knowledge. Even if you're a beginner, come on in and give us your experiences in Excel and help us make a better product. Liam, did we have any other questions come up in?
Not at the moment, but I'm happy to open it up, and I'm happy to still read them out so that you can concentrate on doing the talking if that works better for you, or I can publish them. But at the moment, we haven't got any.
Okay.
Just see if there is anything first. Obviously, if something occurs to you afterwards, have you put your contact details up, or is it all through the sad thing, Adam?
Both work, but you know what? Let me just tab over here. I'm going to, can I make an announcement? Honestly, I'll just drop my email in here.
Meanwhile, some music.
Does that work? Hopefully people see it. Feel free to send questions on collab to acal@microsoft.com.
Where have you put it?
I think I published it in the chat.
Let's have a look. You have. I can see it. Yes, it's there in there. So acal@microsoft.com.
Yes, sir.
So I've got about 3 places to look. That's all. Do we have any more questions before we wrap up this particular session? Doesn't look like it for the moment. I think Kevin's got a few comments he's going to want to come offline with you, so we'll go with that in the meantime. Actually, we have Cristiano Galvao, who was presenting earlier, says he's got a query and he sent it on Q&A. I don't see it. If they put it back on there, I'll.
Is this the question about the research program from Cristiano?
Yes. Sorry, I sent my name for the research program, but I'm just trying to read. It's coming up on another computer for some reason. I sent my name for the research program, but the contract that came was too small to read. It came as an image. Where can we find the PDF or page? maybe people will have the same question.
Yeah, excellent. I don't know, but I know the person to whom I will send this and give them the feedback. It's the person who asked me to put the slide up. Fantastic feedback. Obviously, if that's coming in and isn't legible, I'll send that feedback. So thank you, Cristiano. And then I also see you sent a frown today for something you found on data streaming. Thank you again. Again, I know it can feel like you're just sending us off to the abyss, but my team, we actually have alerts set up. So when things come in relative to my area, I get an email alert about it. And then as a team, we actually go through and look at feedback that gets sent in specifically. We try to do it once a week as just a collab team. So please do know that it doesn't just go to an abyss. We do actually look at it. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Can I just add to that for you, Adam, just as someone that is nothing to do with Microsoft, and I'm happy to be completely neutral. Yes, I am an MVP, but that doesn't mean I have anything to do with them. The sender frown, I know this is not something that's just unique to Adam's team. They, if you send frowns anywhere, they only know if you do send frowns, but they do look at it. And as long as you you just explain what it is and they follow it, there's no need for abuse, things like that. They're human. They will look at it and they will try and identify things. And I have seen things actioned, and I know of other war stories like that, just to support Adam's case.
Absolutely, thank you.
Adam, it doesn't look like we have any more questions at this moment. I might let you off the hook. We'll have another break in a second. I may actually share my screen again now if you have nothing more to put on, because there is another survey we would like people to do too. Are you happy for me to swap to my screen?
Yes, sir, that works great. Thank you.
No, I'm just going to, that's assuming I can do it. Let's hope it's come up. Has it not yet? Are you sure you want to share? Yes, I'm going to take you over. It doesn't want to. Perfect. So here we go. So another thing here is, because we're not having a recorded video, but this is one of the sessions in here. You may, for those who've been here from the beginning, you may have noticed a couple of the sessions didn't proceed as planned, but we will have them recorded. It's great to be back on track though. Can we ask for this one for Adam's session? There was a lot of interaction. It was great to hear on the background here. I had to do some work for once. If you could actually take a note of this QR code as well, that would be good. Adam would be delighted to get the feedback here as well, because if we do make this a regular event where perhaps presenters even can get in and we'll have everyone online, that would be cool. We haven't some more questions in the meantime while I've got that going. We've got anonymous. I don't know if this is the same people. It's two different anonymous people. One says that Adam, if you're still there, the contract also comes in the form of a PDF in the email. And that's just an observation. And the other one here is sheet view is grayed out. Why?
I don't know. That shouldn't be.
Information. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, I would say send a frown with that commentary. Say, hey, sheet view is grayed out. I don't know why that is. Because the PM for that feature, she is incredibly active at looking at and responding to every piece of feedback that mentions sheet view. So please send it. I will say with confidence it will get reviewed. And if you include your email, we'll shoot you a response on either why that is, or if it's a bug, we'll look to get it fixed. So thank you for letting us know though.
Adam, Callens, thank you very much. I know we can't hear everyone else here, but I'll applaud. You got a bit of a grilling there. We're getting so Stephanie B has pointed out the document has to be saved. Just come up as I was about to wrap up there. That might be it for anonymous. I'll publish these two so that we've got those in there. Thank you. Right, what we might do is we might wrap that session up here. Adam will be happy to take questions, he said, from the email and things like that.